team. Welcome to the team call today for June 1st. Can you believe that we are 6 months through the year, starting the 6th month of the year? I can't believe it. It feels like we were just in January. Today's team call is a little bit different. I'm sorry to have to pre-record it. I've been having trouble with my internet at home when I'm hosting a big call of people, and I actually have an appointment tonight that I couldn't get out of at the last minute, so I figured I would do this, and hopefully you'll get something out of this call. Anyways, so today I'm actually going to be talking about personal development. And before you roll your eyes, because I know many of you are probably rolling your eyes at the thought of me talking about personal development again, I just want you to trust me. I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite books and my favorite podcasts, and really talk about the importance of personal development. So as we know, personal development is one of the 4 vital behaviors. And for me, it has always been the vital behavior that is the easiest to skip, because I feel like it's the one that doesn't matter that much. Because you're like, okay, well, I'm working out, I'm drinking my shake. If I'm going to have success in the business, I need to be talking to people. So that takes care of, inviting and recognizing people always comes pretty naturally to me too. But that personal development is that one that, kind of just, you think, it doesn't really matter. And I'm here to tell you that it is actually the one vital behavior that I think you have got to do no matter what, because it will change your life, not just in your business, but also in your whole life. And I'm going to share this with you. This is really personal. But I truly believe that because of personal development and the personal growth that I've had in the last almost 3 years since building my business, I've gained a new perspective on myself. I gained a new perspective on things in life, and I really grew individually. And it was in that growth that I was able to realize that I needed to leave a marriage that was pretty destructive. And I think before Beachbody and before that personal growth with personal development, I don't think I would have had the confidence. In fact, I know I wouldn't have had the confidence because I didn't ever leave. And that's not to bash my husband, not to bash anything like this, but I think the personal growth that I had inside myself because of personal development, also putting myself out there and growing as a person with this business, it really helped me overcome a lot of things, opened my eyes, and made me realize that I needed to make a change in my life. So if you're that person that's discounting personal development, or that's the one thing that you're wanting to give up, don't do that. And I know just recently, Sally Stevens, she did a call about the importance of personal development, which I think is great. Today, I'm actually going to talk through some of my favorite books and share those. I have a bookshelf. Like, I could have talked about a lot of these books, and I picked a handful that are my favorites. Because personal development in the books that you read or the podcasts that you listen isn't really one size fits all. You have to actually read or listen to something that you need to work on in yourself. So I have different things that I'm going to share from different parts of my life and what really helped me. But where you're sitting today, I can't say, okay, so-and-so, this is the book that you need to read to change your life. So whenever anybody asks me what they should read for personal development, I can't give an answer until I ask a few questions. And I ask, okay, well, what are you struggling with? What's going on in your life? What is hard for you right now? Because the area of your life that you need to grow on, that's the area that you need to learn and read about. So maybe it's confidence, maybe it's business stuff. You need to learn the ins and outs of maybe inviting, maybe you need to work on your faith, whatever it is that you're struggling with, that really depends on what you should be reading. So I love this quote by Maya Angelou that says, when you know better, you do better. And I think that describes personal development in a whole great wide thing. When we know better, we do better. And the only way to know better is to learn and grow and be open to new things. So now I'm going to talk about why. Why is personal development so important, other than the things that I just said? Well, first of all, in this business, it's going to be hard. This business is one of those businesses where you can face a lot of rejection. You're really putting yourself out there in your social media posts. You're putting yourself out there by sending friend requests. You're putting yourself out there inviting people. And chances are there's a good amount of those people who are going to reject what you're doing, whether they don't respond at all or they respond with some sort of negative comment back. So in order to counteract the negativity you may be receiving from people around you, because it's going to bring you down naturally. When you get those rejections, when you start to send out a lot of messages and you're not getting the responses you want, it starts to eat at your soul a little bit. It does for me. It starts to just eat inside my heart, and it makes me feel like, gosh, am I doing the right thing? And I start to question everything. So it's in that, when you're having those moments like that, you've got to be feeding your brain with positive things so you can overcome that, so you can work that muscle that you're like, yep, next person, this is what I'm here to do. And I can see the people who are reading personal development regularly and the people who aren't on the team based on how they react and the things that they are posting in their social media, the things that they're posting in the team. It's pretty evident to me who's reading personal development and who isn't, because I can see who's growing and changing. Because if you're not growing, if you're not learning, you're staying stuck, or actually I think you kind of move backwards. I think that also reading personal development, it's not just mentally that it helps you grow. You can read books, and I'm going to share a few of things that can help your business grow. So if you need something to learn, if you need to learn about social media, if you need to learn about Instagram, if you need to learn about the business side, that's a good opportunity to use your personal development time. Another thing that I think is great about personal development is it gives you new material to share with your challengers. Because as you learn new things, you have new content to share. And I'm not saying just copy and paste from a book, but you'll be changing your inside thinking, and you'll be wanting to share that with people who are learning and wanting to grow too. So it really gives you fresh new ideas to constantly change up your information you're sharing in your challenge groups. Another thing that I think it's great, when you're feeding your brain with positive stuff, you don't run out of things to post on social media. Because as you learn new things, as you're reading, as you're listening, your brain is just fresh with ideas to share positive things on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media you're using. So it's really a great tool that helps your business grow in so many ways, not just your brain. How is the best way to listen to personal development, or how's the best way to go about it? Well, one, you should be doing it every single day. I've heard some people say you should read a chapter a day. Some people say 10 pages, 10 minutes. You have to do what's best for you. I prefer to read that chapter a day because I'm just crazy like that, and I want to read from one chapter to the next and have a good stopping point. But find what works best for you. But I encourage you to either listen to something, open a book and read, do something every single day. So that's another thing I want to talk about. So what does personal development look like? You can read a book, or you can listen to a book on Audible, or you can listen to podcasts. And I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite podcasts a little bit later. But there's many different options to do your personal development. And there's many ways, like if you're listening to a podcast, that's something you can listen to while you're working out or doing one of those mindless activities, driving in the car, putting away laundry, cleaning the house. There's many opportunities where you're doing something that's a mindless activity that you can feed your brain at the same time. Oh, another good thing I didn't say is if you're wanting to learn something about your business, I count personal development as if you're looking up YouTube videos. Say you want to learn about volume, you want to learn about coach placement, you want to learn about anything when it comes to our business, there's a wealth of information on YouTube. You could search top coaches and you could see the videos that they have about inviting and things like that. I count that as personal development because you're learning and you're growing and you're doing your best to become a better coach. So those things definitely are great tools to grow your mind. Because as the coach here, I'd love to teach everybody everything. But you can learn, you're not limited by what I can teach you because there's a wealth of knowledge at your doorstep. Somebody told me once that I was smart, and I was like, well, thank you for the compliment. That's really nice. I don't necessarily think I'm smart, but I'm resourceful because I'm willing to look up a resource. I'm willing to find an answer. So if I don't know something, I'm willing to Google it and look at it. I cannot tell you how many times a day I Google everything, not just about my business, but good. I figure in this day and age, everybody has access to knowledge right at their fingertips. So you don't have any excuse not to learn and constantly be growing. So now I'm going to share with you some of my favorite books, and I have them kind of in different categories. Some of them are like my favorites that I think everybody can benefit from, and then I have some business ones. So I'm going to start with the first personal development book that I read that really impacted me. And many coaches will say to read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy as the first book. And I think that's a great book. I have read that book. But my favorite was actually The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It is definitely the exact same concept, but I really preferred Jeff Olson's writing style more than Darren Hardy's. I've read this book twice, and it is turning simple disciplines into massive success and happiness. So this is that concept, the same as the compound effect, that you do little things every single day, little things with your eating, little things with your business, little things that are just as easy to do as not do that can grow into something amazing. So it's trusting the process that what you're going to do is going to give you that slight edge or that compound effect, that over time those simple little actions will grow into something. And I feel like anybody in the world could benefit from a book like this, especially challengers who are on a long journey to lose weight, change their life. This is a great book to get started with because it really just solidifies that those small things that you do every single day matter. Where many people think, well, those things are just easy to skip. Yeah, I can skip my workout today, or I can have a cheat meal today, or I don't really need to invite today. But when you compound those things that you're skipping over a long period of time, it is going to make a huge difference in your growth. You're not going to get anywhere. But if you continue to consistently do those every single day, if you look back a year from now, you'll be amazed at where your business will grow. So this book, amazing. The next book, and I think anybody can benefit from, many of you have probably already read this, is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I was really skeptical to read this book before because I had heard that it kind of had some new age vibes to it, and I'm a Christian. I believe in God and Jesus, and I had heard that she kind of like talked about like source energy, and when I read it, when I heard her say that stuff, I just replaced her idea of her spiritualness with my faith in God. And I still gained a lot of good things about this book. This book is amazing in an audio version, so I've read this book, and I have also listened to this book on Audible, and she actually narrates herself, and you can't help but get fired up when you listen to her. So if you have not read You Are a Badass yet, you should. And I just saw she has a new one. I haven't read it. It's called You Are a Badass at Making Money. So that might be a good one to check out after you've read this one. Another one of my favorite books. This one's a little cheesy. It's called The Energy Bus. But it is a book that, again, I think everybody should read this book because it really talks about your own accountability with your actions and your attitude. How whatever you have around you doesn't affect how your mood is. You are in control of how you feel. You are in control of how you react to people. And you are in control of the people that you surround yourself to. So you can choose who gets on your energy bus and who doesn't based on how they are and how they act and how you act. So this book was really good. It has a metaphor. It's a story. It's a very, very easy read. But it really just talks about having a positive attitude, surrounding yourself with positive people, and maintaining that while you're on the energy bus. Okay, this book is probably the absolute cheesiest book that I've ever read, but it is probably one of my favorite books, called Rhinoceros Success. And many of you read this. We actually had this as an assignment in one of the Diamond groups that we read. But it basically has just that, if you're looking for a book to just motivate you, like not real deep thinking, but something that's just going to get you fired up, this is a book that does that for you. I actually have a rhino back on my shelf. Can you see him? He's right there because of this book. So this book's main principle is you cannot stop a rhinoceros who's charging. So we all want to be a rhinoceros, not a miserable cow in the field. So what does a rhinoceros do? They charge. They just go after it. They have thick skin and they go after what they want, no matter what. And I love it. I'm trying to think if I can find a cheesy quote from it. I mean, there's pictures. I mean, it really is, it's super easy, cheesy read, but it definitely, I can't tell you how often now I say the word charge. I'm going to charge after it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. You just do it. Let me see. And it says over, I mean, it's cheesy. It says over and over again that you are a rhinoceros. You just go after it. Let me see really fast. Well, anyway. I woke up this morning as a rhinoceros. I'm going to sacrifice the security and the complacency of the pasture, you know, where the miserable cows live, and live a rhinoceros life of excitement and adventure in the jungle. I'm going to be a rich rhino. Charge. And it talks about how you need to be around other rhinos too, because who do rhinos hang out with? Other rhinos. Super cheesy, great book. Okay, now I want to talk quickly about books for your business. A lot of these ones are about business stuff. So I have a ton of books. If you're struggling with something emotionally, I have lots of books up there about emotions, different things like that, whether they be faith-based books or not. I have lots of books. I have some books by Brené Brown, Daring Greatly, The Gifts of Imperfection. But if you're rising strong, if you are struggling something emotionally, feel free to reach out to me and I can talk to you and maybe give you some suggestions based on some of these other books. Obviously, I don't have time to go over all these books, but I'm going to talk business-wise. So this book, super thin, quick, easy read, Rock Your Network Marketing Business. If you're a new coach and you want to learn some information about how to rock your network marketing business, that's what we do here as coaches. This is a great book. Oh, one I forgot to get put in here was Go for No. Go for No is a really small book, but it's another great book when you're first getting started because it teaches you a mindset to not be discouraged by that no, and the more no's you get, statistically means the more yeses you'll get along the way. I love this book. I think I've read it twice. Girl Code. Unlocking the Secrets of Success, Sanity, and Happiness for the Female Entrepreneur. This book is filled, I've highlighted, bent pages down. I just absolutely love the motivation. This book to me was very motivating. It had a lot of girl power. I can do this. I want to go for it. Loved this book a lot. So if you're struggling with motivation and you're just feeling kind of down about your business, pick up this book. It's amazing. I have not read this book yet, but I've heard amazing things about it. I've bought it and haven't read it. Get Over Your Damn Self. It's another good book for network marketing. The No BS Blueprint to Building a Life-Changing Business. I heard she's got scripts in here. She really breaks down how to get in action with practical steps. So check this book out. The 10X Rule. I have listened to this book and I've read this book. And when you listen to it, he's kind of a little crude, Grant Cardone. But this book will, again, fire you up with motivation. This won't necessarily teach you anything, but it basically tells you to get over yourself and do it. Just go after what you want. Dream big dreams. Many people are limited by their small minds, and he really pushes that out and tells you to 10x your output so you can get better results. So that's a great one. Okay. Any book by John C. Maxwell is a great book. He has many books on leadership. This is probably one of my favorite books by him called Failing Forward, because I think it's really easy in this business to think that you're failing, and it really changed my perspective on failure, which failure is really how we grow and change. Failing doesn't make us a failure. Failing is just a way we learn and grow on our journey. So turning mistakes into stepping stones for success. So if you're struggling with that mentality that you're failing miserably, this is a great book to read. This is probably one of the first personal development books. This book is very old, and I think it's a classic that anybody should read. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. You can usually find this book at the Goodwill, at half-price books for really cheap. It's a really quick read that anybody could benefit from. So if you're really struggling with people skills, socially, this is a great book for just basic information that anybody could benefit from. I loved this book. This is by Darren Hardy. So I didn't really love The Compound Effect, but I loved The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. And it's called Why Now is the Time to Join the Ride. It basically shares how being an entrepreneur is like riding a roller coaster. It's thrilling, it's exciting, but it's full of ups and downs. So it really talks about how to ride the wave of being an entrepreneur. Absolutely awesome, awesome book. Great read. Jon Acuff. I actually got to meet Jon Acuff a couple years ago. This book is called Start. He has several books. He has Start. He has Quitter. So if you are a full-time employee and you want to quit your day job eventually, I'd start with the book Quitter. He also has a book called Do Over. This book was my favorite. Punch fear in the face, escape average, do work that matters, start. Going from average to awesome. This is one of my absolute favorite personal development books for just motivation, firing you up, build up your confidence in what you're doing. I mean, just fantastic. He has a great writing style. He's funny. It's easy to read. Because a lot of times I think people start to read personal development books and they can be really dry and it's hard to get through them. But his book is very entertaining and a very good, easy read. Gary Vaynerchuk. I have a few of his books. I have this one, Jab, 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 Right Hook. I'll talk about it in a second. I have a book called Crush It, which is more motivation. And then his most recent book called Ask Gary V. This one I think is the most practical for our business because it talks about how to tell your story in a noisy social media world. Jab, 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 right hook. Basically adding value, adding value, adding value. Go for the right hook and ask. So that would be like social media posts that's add value, add value, add value, invite, talk about a challenge group, talk about the coach opportunity, where you're basically adding value, adding value, adding value, and then coming back to the right hook of asking, inviting. And this book has chapters on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Tumblr, and he has actual examples of people's posts, like what one looked like and what one didn't, to give you an example of what looks good in a social media world and what doesn't, because it's really about how it looks. Because social media, you have somebody's attention on social media for a half a second. People are scrolling. This is people. Scroll, scroll, scroll. You know you've done it. So you have to have something that's eye-catching, that's worth scroll stopping for, and he really talks about this in this book. Okay, next I just want to talk quickly about podcasts. Depending on what kind of phone you have, you should have a podcast app on your phone. I have an iPhone, so I actually have a podcast app, and I can subscribe to many different podcasts, and there's a ton of them out there. Of course, you can listen to your National Wake Up Call on your podcast. You can listen to Chalene Johnson. She has two different podcasts. One is called Build Your Tribe, which is more about business information. And she also has another one called The Chalene Show, which I think that one's a good one to learn and grow and help your challengers. Both are very beneficial. Entre Leadership by Dave Ramsey has a great business podcast. If you're looking to learn more about business and stay on top of trends with business and social media, that's a great place to start. Our founding coach, Christine Dwyer, she has a podcast called The Platinum Edge, and she shares information specific to Beachbody. So it's kind of like the National Wake Up Call, but she runs it just for her, and she always has a great wealth of knowledge to share on her podcast. Another thing that I do, I like to listen to, because I'm trying to keep my mindset in the right place. So I'm reading books, but I also like to grow my faith. So there's many different churches that I listen to their podcasts that are all over the country, just as something to constantly be feeding my brain. Because the more I'm feeding my brain with positive things, the better I'm able to serve the team, serve the people around them, the better mom I am, the better person in general I can have. The more positive I feel inside, the more it can radiate out and help other people. Because if I'm feeling down and struggling completely, I have no benefit for anybody. I have to work on me first. Just like in an airplane, they say, if the oxygen mask comes down, you have to take care of you before you can take care of somebody else. I think that's why it's essential that we have personal development as one of our vital behaviors, because we really have to take care of us before we can take care of anybody else. And part of what we're doing is teaching other people to take care of themselves. So if we know how, if we have a wealth of knowledge, if we've learned and read through things, we are better able to help others around us. I can't tell you how many times I recommend books to people or recommend podcasts because I see them struggling and they don't have the tools to get help, but there's tools and resources all around us. So that's all I have today on personal development. If you have any questions, if there's anything that you're specifically wanting to learn about that I haven't covered, or an emotion or something that you are trying to overcome and you do not know what book to read or podcast to listen to, never, ever, ever hesitate to reach out to me, and I will ask a few questions and I'll give you some suggestions. Because skipping personal development is a detriment not only to your business, but to your own personal growth and to your own mindset. And if you do nothing else for your business other than be a product of the product, do your personal development, because it will grow you as a person more than you ever realize. I'm so thankful for personal development because I can see who I was 4 years ago and the person that I am today, and it's completely different. And it's all credited to my personal growth through my journey and my story and personal development. And I wouldn't be sitting where I am today if I hadn't have continued to feed my brain every single day with personal development. Bye, team.